Hello, 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 everyone. This is Mario, and with me today I got Eric and Marcella.
Good evening, everyone.
So today we are talking about relationships, and I think it's more of a balance of power. Is things equal in relationship? What makes things equal in relationship? And pretty much how a relationship should be balanced. Um, so Marcella, since y'all both Eric and Marcella, of course y'all married. Y'all been married for over 25 plus years. Tell us a little bit about what do you think equal relationship or balanced relationship is?
Uh, it starts with communication. You gotta have the talk first. Expectations. You gotta talk expectation. You gotta talk not necessarily what breaks up the relationship, but things that are non-negotiable. You gotta talk that. You gotta talk finance. You gotta talk everything. And by talking, I mean I speak, she speak, we come to an agreement. Next topic. I speak, she speak, we come to an agreement. And that's how it
Excuse me.
remains equal between us. There's nothing that we can't talk to each other about. There's nothing we don't discuss because it's equal. If I can go out and I can say I like this refrigerator, I can go buy it. It ain't gonna be no issue. So on the same token, she said, "Well, I like this wash and dry." She can go get it. Ain't gonna be no argument. Now, what we do talk about is, you think I should pay this much for it? What you think? It's this much, and I think it's too much. Well, you know what? Maybe that's good, or it might be okay. I agree with you. Let's keep moving. It's equal. We don't do nothing without the other. Even if, hey, I need to go to Track Supply and pick up some nuts and bolts. Okay, cool. I'm on the way back. All right, cool.
Um,
So
with me, to piggyback off my husband, I think it's first of all, it's like you said, communication is number one. But in order to understand, in order to know if your marriage is balanced or if it's equal, you have to first have boundaries, and then you have to have expectations, and then you have to have communication because a lot of time if you don't communicate and let your spouse know things that that you're not going to tolerate, or you have to let them know what your goals are. You have to let them know. You have to talk about everything. And I think that what I want to say this real quick though, I don't think that any relationship is going to be balanced, equally bounded. Because one person might give more than the other person. That don't mean that it's intentional, but sometimes, so let's just say for instance, like when it comes to your finances and stuff like that, you can have one person that might have they job pay more, you understand what I'm saying? But I think that respect is the main thing for your relationship to be equal. You have to have that mutual respect with each other, and you have to communicate, and you have to talk, and you have to let each other know, okay, this is what we're doing here, this is what we're going to do. And like I said, are we equal? 90, yeah, 90% we are. Like I said, it's just some things, sometimes one person is gonna have more responsibility or carry something more than that next person is. But like I said, to me, it's the respect thing for me. To me, it's the boundaries. For me, it's the communication. And once we get all that lined up, then I think that our relationship is gonna always be equal.
I think everything you just said, both what you and Eric both said, is it's to me a relationship is equal based on how your relationship is. It's
Yeah.
not about and that's one of the things I've learned over years. I mean, being married 25 years, it's not about the materialistic things. It's not about the
Mm-mm.
money. It's all
No.
about how we make it and how we make it work. Um, to me, a relationship that works perfect is equal.
Yes.
Relationship that is that we you see eye to eye and you back each other up is like the two of you against the world. That's an equal relationship. I know
Yes.
some people get caught up. Most relationships that don't make it in some cases is because they do get caught up on those financial situations, or they get caught up one person makes more than the other. that has nothing to do with the relationship. It's about how
No,
each other up in that relationship. So like even if one makes more than the other, there's still a balance because that all ties into what makes your home a solid family. And I think that's one of the things that I can say between the two of you and me and my Kathy, we've learned that over the years of being in a relationship is that we treat each other and we back each other up. I know one of the biggest things I stress um, is I will always put Kathy on the platform, no matter what. She's my queen. I'm her
yep,
king, and that's one of the things in a relationship. If you're not being treated like royalty, then you might want to go back and take a good look at your relationship because
that is so
you should
true.
back up each other no matter what the situation is.
Yes. And and Mario, we can have roles and stuff like that because a man is supposed to provide and protect, right? And a woman is supposed to, one thing about I'm my husband's helpmate. You know what I'm saying? And it's like being equally yoked means that you're not a burden on that other person. And like you said, I have ran into some couples that feel like if the wife is not working outside the home, or even if she is and he makes more, he feels like, well, if I make more money than you, I'm the one that has to say so. And like you said, when you lose that mutual respect based on materialistic things or financial stuff, then you're not equal. You know what I'm saying? You're not equal. And I don't think it's based on, like you said, it's not based on finances, it's not based on material stuff. I know when me and my husband first met, we started dating, we were just talking about a lot of things and a lot of goals and stuff like that. And we was just saying that and I promise everyone that I'm saying right now that hears me, 25 plus years, 25 years plus, we have not argued about 50 cents. We have the money because one thing about it, however you come into a relationship, that's how either you're gonna stay together or that's how it's gonna end.
Hmm.
That's how it's going to end. So, like I said, you're right. What you were saying, we equal because the fact that we have the mutual respect for each other. We're equal because we support each other. We equal because we hear each other out. I don't think one person can be on top of the other person because when you are in a committed relationship, both of y'all matter when it comes to everything, opinions, communication, boundaries, and stuff like that. So I think that a lot of couples and a lot of people that are dating or leading up to marriage or even been married for a long time, you have to sit down and you have to have that conversation. And like I said, once you have communication, you have mutual respect, and you have understanding, then you are going to be equally yoked. But if you don't, and if you let somebody feel like they are superior over you based on what it is that they have, then it's not going to work. It's definitely not going to work.
Well, I mean, and I think that's one of the things that people have to see is like what you get at the beginning is what you're going to get for the rest of your life
Oh
in a
wow, yes,
relationship.
yes,
Because that's just one of those things is when you first come into a relationship, the way you're treated, even before you say I do,
yes,
that's how things normally. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's that time where you're going to do a little bit more because you're dating, you're trying to prove yourself to a degree. But after you get married, it starts to fill itself out. And that's one of the things I tell people a lot is that I look back when me and Kathy first got married, we were equally balanced. And when I say it was equally balanced is that we came in and we say, okay, 50-50 down the middle. That's
mm-hmm.
how we're going to do things. Well, as time went on, I started to make more money. And so I stepped up and did more for the household. I started taking out, pay all the bills, things of that nature. And she took care of things for the home.
Yes,
And so now it's like, and to this day, we are still balanced in that way. That's what makes our relationship, I would say, more solid, is because we understand our responsibilities in the couple,
exactly.
as a husband and wife, and as a father and a mother, as parents. So those are things that as you start to grow, everything becomes a norm. Everything becomes natural. It's no longer, it's a natural balance, and materialistic things does not tip the scale left or right.
Yeah.
It's pretty much an equal balance. And I think that's where in relationships, it really, people need to take a good look at, like, I mean, today's like, oh, I'm glad I'm married today. Cause I'm telling you, boy, the way they date nowadays and the stuff that you see, the disrespect, that thing is this.
Ooh,
If you have to demand respect in a relationship, you with the wrong person.
That's
yeah,
right.
If
yes,
you have to
yes,
tell somebody how to treat you, now don't get me wrong. I mean, if you're a complicated individual, then okay, maybe, but certain things you shouldn't have to tell a person.
true.
You shouldn't have to tell a person how to act in public when y'all out together.
Yes,
I mean, now if there's certain things that you are unique, I'm gonna say not gonna say odd, but if you're a unique individual, then okay, I get that part. But if you gotta tell somebody how to do things, that you might want to take a good look at what's really going on.
yeah. And then also we have to use in like terms like, for instance, like we don't use the terms where it's your turn. I did it this time. You know what I'm saying? If something there's a need, fill it because both of you going to benefit from it. If you like with me and my husband, like you said, the working part. When I had 2 jobs at one time, and my husband, like I said, he like you said, as we got later on into the marriage and stuff like that, he paid major bills and stuff like that. My money was to put in a bank
Definitely.
account, save it up, or like when we do little
Mhm.
things outside the home or buy groceries and stuff like that. But and then one thing that we learned too, Mario, and I know you and Kathy the same way, you do not allow outside influence to tell you anything about what's going on in your household based on how they do things in their household. Because some men feel like my wife is gonna work. She not gonna, you know what I'm saying? It's like they already coming in telling that spouse how she's supposed to be or how it's gonna be. You know what I'm saying? So I just thank God that we started that from the beginning, and it's gonna be until one of us leave this world or both of us leave the world at the same time. So yeah, we can truly say that we're equally yoked. Like I said, sometimes one person might do a little more, but we know that mutual respect is involved in that. The communication again, setting those boundaries, that's all a part of that. So that's why sometimes if you do a little 10%, a little bit more than me, we still okay with that. We still
Right.
okay with that.
And I think that's something that people have to understand is that when you get in a relationship, I mean, and this is what I see in today's, like, I sit back and I watch some of these relationships, these young relationships, even some
Yes.
older ones. It's kind of amazing to me that when they go into the relationship and that there is no sense of respect towards the person that you're supposed to be. Like, when I maybe correct me if I'm wrong, when you're dating somebody, the objective is you should be looking to be the husband or the wife. That's one of those things I don't understand. I think I'm more old school because when I date somebody, my outlook is this is someone I want to be my husband or wife. And I think that's what people like. I don't know. Maybe now it's different because now people just date just in general. But to me, that's how it was when I was dating someone. If I was dating you, I was looking at you as a potential wife.
Yeah.
And then people have to understand is if you don't act like a wife, then you're probably not going to get treated like a wife.
That's true.
I'm just saying.
So, or if don't act like a husband, you're not going to get treated like a husband. Why should that individual get the benefits of being that significant person in your life if they
Yes,
don't act like it?
that's true. And
And
then
I
you're
think,
going into
go ahead.
the relationship. Like I sit back and I watch things too, and then you're going into the relationship, especially like because I used to
Hey,
mentor.
Pam. Pam, just say, hey.
Hello, Pam. And then you're going into the relationship because I used to mentor young ladies from the ages of 12 to 18 when we were stationed in Georgia. And I'm telling you, man, it's like if anybody knows me, they know that I love people. I love people. I love to help. I love to give advice. I do. And so um, you try to tell, especially young ladies and stuff like that, you try to tell them that you have to, first of all, you have to know who you are as an individual. Then you have to have self-love, you have to have self-respect, you have to have self-care. You understand what I'm saying? And when you
Mm-hmm.
go into a relationship, and when a relationship first starts off with some joker coming into your life and they asking for things and demanding stuff, and you know what I'm saying, that's red flags right there. And that relationship is not equal because if you're doing so much for this individual and he or she not giving anything back, those to me, it's like I don't waste my time. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that being younger, we didn't have relationships that all relationships work, because if that's the case, then this individual right here won't be my husband. What I'm saying is that, you know, stop wasting your time with individuals, like you said, Mario. If you're not going into it to date for that to be your husband or your wife, then you have to start asking the question, like, what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we doing? And so, like I said, even dating to me, I feel like it has to be equal, especially dating, because, you know, y'all just dating. So one person, I feel like, shouldn't just keep giving, and you're not giving, you're just taking. So when you first start off, you will know how your marriage is going to be to that individual if it gets to that point. Or you'll know that, you know what, this is not for me. You know what I'm saying? This is not for me. So me and my husband, when we first met, we dated and we talked, because our love language is communication. We talk so much. We talk about everything. And a lot of people say mine is touch, affirmations, that kind of stuff. Everybody have different love languages, but ours is communication. It is, because we talk so much, and like I said, we fall asleep talking, you know. So you just got to find out what that middle ground is, and that's what's going to get you through, you know.
Well, I think that's also one of the biggest things about relationship. I mean, like me, I look back, I was just here just thinking about the relationships that didn't work out, they did not become the winner. They weren't crowned the queen. And I look back at those days, and I know out of two of the relationships, they felt as though I was too good for them.
Wow.
And I think that's something to where I go back and I look at, like, you know, self-respect.
Yes.
If someone comes into your life and you think they're too good for you, you really need to go back and check yourself, because that person, I mean, that means that person who's with you, they see something good in you. So if you think they're too good for you, guess what? They see you as that primary. So you're not too good for, I mean, that person's not too good for you, because they see you as that good thing for them. And people need to balance that out in themselves. I know with me, all the crazy relationships I were in, it's like, be honest. I mean, that's the biggest thing I can say, is just be honest in relationships.
Yes.
If you want to, like me, I wanted to get married when I was 17 years old. Thank God I didn't, but I wanted to get married when I was 17 years old. And then again, it was that was just because I had been in a relationship and I take my relationship seriously. So I thought that I was going to marry this person. Well, guess what? I didn't marry that person, because this person wasn't serious about the relationship.
Yeah.
So I was serious, but she wasn't. And so that's one of the things, is that you both have to be in the same place when you're in a relationship. If you're just out here just swinging, then be honest with the person. Don't waste somebody's time.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it is now. And today, the way they did the dating game now, it's like, okay, we're going to play hopscotch, 1, 2, 3. Okay, next. I mean, that's how things are now. People don't take relationships like as serious as they should.
No.
Because if you're looking to date somebody, again, old school mind thinking, you're looking for this person to be your queen or your king. If you're in a mindset of it's just a sex thing, then say that.
Exactly.
Be upfront, be honest with the person. If it's like, okay, I'm not serious, I'm not really doing any serious dating, but there's a potential, you know, sometimes if you're honest with yourself, things will go better. Is when you're pretending to be something. And I mean, to me, I hear this, oh yeah, I have somebody. But dang, if you have somebody, why are you out here in the street with somebody else?
There you
What
go.
kind of, I mean, I thought that, I mean, again, I don't know what the word relationship means in 2023, but you know, it's kind of like what's the new, I guess now this new thing, well, ain't new, it's been out for a second, friends with benefits. What is that? I mean, that is just another way of saying that it's
running
just
from the truth.
Huh?
Running from the truth.
Right.
If it's anything other than the truth, you're running from it. It's called running from the truth. So, just to piggyback on what you're saying, I have 2 words: natural progression. If you, everything in this relationship should progress naturally, and if you have natural progression, guess what? Marriage is going to come out of it. Lifelong partner is going to come out of it. If it's not naturally progressing, then it's not gonna last. And the problem is today in today's relationship is people are not abiding by those red flags. They're not progressing, but yet they overlooking the fact that it's not going anywhere. They overlook it and they stay for long, and then you blame everybody. No. Once you get that sign that this ain't the person for me and you stay, you're no longer a victim, you're a willing participant.
Right.
It has to naturally progress. That's what we did when we were dating. I pay, she'll pay. She'll pay, I'll pay. It was natural. We didn't even have to look at each other to even know, I got this. Okay, don't even pull out your wallet.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It naturally progressed. And with natural progression comes, once again, communication. Another big failure, which is the biggest failure in relationships today, is communication. People are not talking. So if you talked about it earlier, see what talking does is eases the conversation later. That's what communication does. It eases the conversation later. Okay, so like I was talking to her about this before. If I go out, like I alluded to earlier, and I go spend $3,500 on a washer and dryer, since we already talked about it and we won, it ain't gonna be a problem. You know what I'm saying? But if I don't, if we don't have this talk, and she see $3,500 washer and dryer, that could be a deal breaker when it shouldn't be if you already talked about it. Nobody talk. They go straight into lust. They do anything other than the truth. They don't tell a person where they are, how they want this relationship to progress. They don't say nothing. They just assume, and you know what happens when you assume. When you go into a relationship assuming, the truth is not the assumption. The truth is y'all are gonna break up, which is why there are more and more horrible the breakups, which is why people hate each other after the fact, because you went into it the wrong way. All you have to do is tell them. If you say, hey, I don't want this to go anything further than this, and the other person decide to go against it, then that's not on you, that's on them because you told them. But that's easy. Ain't nobody's truthful anymore.
Right.
And can I pick it back off of you too, Mario, and also what Eric was saying too. The first thing, Mario, you were saying that, be honest, because whatever it is that you want to do, then give me a chance to decide on if I want to partake in that. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Because just because you feel like this is what you want to do, that might not be my thing. So if you let me decide if I want to just be a friends with benefits, so they say, or if I just want to be, you know what I'm saying, or if I want to be in a relationship where it's open to where, we together, but we can see other people, you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, it's not, you don't have a right to waste people's time. And then also too, as far as like you said, communication and stuff like that, you have to really be equal as where we are, because like when you have the same goals and stuff like that, like let's go back to finances real quick. Let's go back to credit scores and stuff like that. It's like you have to be balanced with that too, because you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like when you're married, it's like it's like, well, we get ready to try to go get this house, but it's just gonna be my signature on it because your credit is about 450, you know what I'm saying? But I still love you though, baby. You know what I'm saying? It's like, we decided that we talked about our finances, we talked about credit, we talked about everything. And so we're staying balanced with that. You know what I'm saying? It's like wherever his credit score is, that's where mine at. But where mine is, that's where his at. You have to, because I don't want to be in a relationship or in a marriage to where it's like I can't even be a part of my name being on certain things or vice versa, because it's like I'm out here spending and not caring about what my credit look like, but it's gonna affect both of us because we married. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be equally yoked when it comes to that things too. A lot of these couples, they don't feel like that. Well, we'll just put it in your name, or can you co-sign for me? That's not a good feeling in a relationship. It's not.
Well, this is where that critical thinking come into effect. If you're married, 100% both of your names should be on everything.
Yeah, certain things.
You go out there and you look at that registration on any vehicle that we got, even though it's only two of them, you're gonna see my name and her name. You look on the deed to the house, you see my name and you see her name. Critical thinking, long-term thinking. So if something happens to me or something happens to her, it ain't no going to no courts. It ain't gonna be stuck in no court system for Lord knows how long. Because just because you married, your name ain't on there, don't mean it's gonna automatically go to you. Put it in their name and something happen, your ass out the door. Okay. So if your name is on it, yeah. If your name, if both their names is on it, if something happens, then it automatically goes to them. You see where I'm going with that?
Well, see, that's and I think that's just how we are. I mean, in the military, that's something that we are prepared for. Because if something happens to us, we want to make things easy
yes,
for the next person to be able to still keep on living.
yes,
And I think that is something to where that's. I mean, that's just being responsible.
yes.
I mean, you want to make sure you set, and this is one of the things is if you were in a relationship and you can't set the other person up for success after you're gone, and when I say that after you're gone, I mean in the sense of even if your relationship doesn't work out,
Yeah.
or even if you're not on the, you're no longer living, you still want to promote that person. You want to make sure this person is a stronger person after you're gone.
Cause see,
And go ahead.
After you're gone could mean deployment. I don't know how many times you've seen it or I've seen it. The wife ain't on nothing. He does everything. Well, how can he do anything when he 10,000 miles across the water? Now you yelling at her because you gave her no right. She not on no bank account. She ain't on nothing. She don't know how to do this. She don't know where to go to register the car because the car in your name. You the fool.
You're not setting her up for success.
No, you can't do that.
Right.
And now you wondering why you getting cussed out by me with this counseling statement because this is what you were supposed to do before we left. This is what you supposed to do before you left. Now we got everybody scrambling because you about to be evicted because you forgot. No. I pay the bills, but guess what? She knows how to do it too. I just choose to do it. You know what I'm saying? And vice versa. Whatever. We both do everything equally in here. Just because she might do this. For instance, she might cut the grass. Don't mean I can't cut the grass. She just chooses to do it. So you can't. So when I left, every time I deploy, I know I left with no problems. And I come back with no problem. If you're not talking and discussing what's going on in life, where you are, what your job is, how long you work, your hours, this and that. That's stuff that you have to know. Because
it's all about trust. It's all about trust.
Yeah.
It's all about trust. I mean, my thing is if you can't trust, if you're dating somebody and you can't trust them, then you're wasting your time. Point blank. It's just like, I mean, don't get me wrong. It takes time to build up trust.
Yeah.
But if you are dating somebody and you can't trust them, there's a problem right there off the bat. That's one of the things in a relationship. There's when a relationship starts, you'll pick up on it real quick and fast. If that person is treating you right, that's a good sign. But if that person is dogging you out and it's the first date, that's a red flag. I mean, hey, look, why are you eating all that food? Okay, you gotta go. I mean, it's just like, for real. I mean, this is so funny. Is you take your first date out on all you can eat, and that will tell a lot about that individual. Y'all laugh, but I'm dead serious. If you take somebody out to an all eat location and see how they act on that date, that says a lot about that person. And it's like I'm old fashioned. It's an old saying.
Me too.
The way you treat a person at the table is the way you treat them for the rest of your life. So it's just simple, little small, simple things you catch on to.
And okay.
Go ahead.
And I think Mario too, and Eric, I think that being equally yoked too, even in a relationship, is whenever you know what your role is. You understand what I'm saying? You can't be in a relationship, whether it be man or woman, and not know what you are to that individual. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like that's something that you have to talk about right up front, because it is. That's just something you have to talk about from up front, And it's like my husband told me, and it's funny, people was like, he told me like from day one, it's like, you're gonna be my wife, I love you, da da da. You know what I'm saying? And I can truly say this. The first time my husband ever told me he loved me when we was dating, he never stopped. He tells me that every day. He calls me beautiful, you know what I'm saying? And so, hey, that's what it is. And so that's why I tell young ladies, I say, when you truly love yourself, when someone gives you that or someone tells you that, you will know if it's sincere because you know what it feels like.
Right.
And so I know what it feels like. So I know when my husband tells me he loves me, not only does he tell me that, but he shows me, so.
And actions mean a lot. And that's something I was going to say that just because a person says something and you don't see the actions behind it, you might want to take a little look at what's going on.
Yes.
Right.
That's just something that people have to pay close attention to. Actions speak louder than words. So a person might speak it, but then if the actions don't back it up, then it really reflects that, it is like, now, correct me if I'm wrong. And I was just sitting here thinking about this. When back in our days, when we were growing up as young adults coming up, there was 4 phases in a relationship: dating, and then you go to boyfriend, girlfriend, then fiance, and then marriage. Where did it's complicated come into the place?
Mm-hmm.
When you ask a person, "Are you in a relationship?" It's complicated.
It's complicated.
I know, like
what kind of complication is it? Is it algebra? Is it geometry? I mean, what kind of complication is it?
Mario, I heard this one before. We kicking it, huh? What is that?
So does that mean you're just dating? I mean, that means because
we just getting to know each other. We just kicking it. But I'm you got the whole cow in the backyard because you ain't got to go buy the milk, but you kicking it. I don't understand that.
Dating.
Well, see, and I think that's one of the things is that they don't the definition is never defined.
No.
Like me, if I'm in a relationship, I want to know, what does it mean? Okay, we're in a relationship, or okay, we're just dating. So that means, and then you have to get clarification. Yes. Okay, if we're dating, that means we can see other people. That's either a yes or no. It ain't no maybe in it. It's either yes or no. Because then if I see you out in the street doing something, then I know we're just dating, so I can't take it that serious. But when you say, okay, now we're boyfriend, girlfriend, that means all others are connected or cut off.
Yes, like exclusive.
Exclusive. That's the word they use. It's exclusive. I mean, okay, so then from there, and I think that's what it is that people need to define where they're at in their relationships. Because that's how you get balance. That's how you have balance. You have to communicate, you have to define, and you have to show the actions of what you're saying.
Yes.
So when you going on this natural progression thing, you'll tell people, oh yeah, man, marriage is wonderful, this, that, and the third. Well, marriage ain't for everybody. You're right. However, if you're not going to get married, then you should naturally progress to the other half. So if you're going to be dating this person, or y'all going to be dating for all this time, you need to be prepared. We can't even count on our hands the number of people that we know that are heard of that's been dating a person for 10 to 15 years. Person pass away, and you got to sit in the back pew. Because they ain't signed over nothing to you. Y'all don't have nothing. So then the person who the benefactor is before they was dating you just say mother or brother, whoever gets everything after their death, and you stand there hoping you get a program in the back of the church. That don't make no sense. If you're not gonna get married, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. But you need to make preparation. You need to put on your big boy drawers and your big woman drawers, and you need to say, okay, since we're not gonna get married, this is what we're gonna do. Everything in case of this is your responsibility. Your name is on this, your name is on that, your name is on that. But they don't do that. They just sit there and they just date all these years, And when something happened, ain't nobody on the other one, so you end up sitting in the back of the church when you should be sitting up front with the family, because you were her family for this long time, or you were his family for this long time. But since you said marriage ain't for me, or it's complicated, now they stuck holding the bag. They don't have no rights over nothing because you weren't married.
And
You
see,
even know just because you're married don't mean you're gonna get everything. That's why you
see,
gotta physically put their name on everything.
to me, I'm gonna be
I'm over
honest.
prepared.
I'm just gonna say this. I'm gonna be honest. If you can't bring yourself to marry the person you've been with for 10 years or more, then you are a fool.
That's right.
I mean, and I'm gonna say this because
Both of
you're
them
not
are.
putting that person in the position that they need to be in.
Yep.
Like some people say, ain't nothing but a piece of paper. Okay,
I heard
if
that
you're
too.
saying that, if you're saying it's nothing but a piece of paper, then you don't understand what kind of relationship you're in.
Nope.
Because
That's
a
true.
marriage is the highest level you can be in a relationship. And but for some reason, and I don't get me wrong, I sit back and I've done many weddings where they've been dating for 10 plus years.
And married for 2.
Got, like live in the same house, got kids. I mean, got everything like a marriage, but it's just to them is like, well, marriage is not necessary. Well, in reality, you're setting yourself up for failure because if something does happen,
Back at the
that
church.
all those things that that person is entitled to are now gone. And again, I'm not talking about materialistic things. I mean, it's a little bit to me, it's a little bit more to it because
yes,
when you marry somebody, you are now officially my king and queen. That's just how it is. I mean, I can't say it anymore, but like some people like and it's real bad in North Carolina. I think it's bad in a lot of different places, but like North Carolina got it really bad where people will go out here and they'll have everything. They'll have a house together. They'll have cars together. But the problem they run into is, to me, it's like, okay, you're not putting them in the proper position to be successful. You're not putting them beyond something just in case something happens.
Mm-hmm.
So
This is
when
not
you
a
are
common law
holding back,
state, and
so
they think it is.
right,
Why
and
do
so
you think
like
this
we
is a
got to sit
common
back
law
and
state? North Carolina's not a common law state.
what are you holding back on? Why are you sitting back and holding back on it? Is
Exactly.
if you're doing everything, if you're treating her like a wife, why not make her your wife? I don't understand that.
And to keep it real, if y'all ain't married, what you got is a back of the church relationship. That's what you got. Because if you don't, and we've seen this happen, if you don't, and something happened to that person, you're gonna be sitting at the back of the church. You're not gonna be up there with the family because you're not married. Because they will throw you away like yesterday trash. Even though you've been with this woman for however long, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. If y'all didn't sit down and have the adult conversation and put you on this, put you on that, then that's what you're gonna have. You're gonna be sitting at the back of the church wondering what happened. What happened is y'all happened.
No, North Carolina is not a common law state,
No.
No.
There's only certain states that are common law, but North Carolina is not one of them.
And you need to understand too that common law is defined. So just because, let's just say California is a common law, what their definition of common law is different than what Oregon is. So you need to A, find out which state is common law, and B, what their definition of common law is.
Yeah.
And see, and the thing is, when it comes to marriage, the only states that are recognized common law marriages are Colorado, Iowa, Kansas, Montana, New Hampshire, South Carolina, Texas, and Utah.
Okay.
Those are only states that recognize common law marriages.
Wow.
But why would you pull common law when you can just get married and you don't even have to worry about the definition of the law?
Well, I think what it is with common law is that means that they are entitled to those things even though you're married. So, like, in other words, if something happens,
I know what that means.
Yeah, I'm saying.
You're just saying, like, why, if you're gonna.
But why not just go ahead and do the right thing?
Yeah, just go ahead and get
do the right
married.
thing.
I mean, it's simple. It's easy. I can sleep better. I can go out and do better because I know she's covered, and she knows, and vice versa. She knows I'm covered. So it ain't gonna be no fight in no court because boy, Lord knows when a person passes away, that's a whole different ball game.
Right.
And I'm gonna say this too, as a woman who know who she is, and like I said, I'm not, to me, like when Mario was talking earlier about just be honest with a person and stuff like that, to give me the choice whether I want to be in that type of relationship. I'm not, I'll date you, but like I said from the beginning, if I see that that's not going anywhere, I'm not going to stay in it long. I can't, that's just me as a woman. I would not waste your time and I will not waste my time. You understand what I'm saying? And so women, and men and women both have to understand that they have choices and they have options and stuff like that. You don't have to stay in something, because when a person don't want the same things that you want, if you force that, then you can imagine how the marriage is going to be. You know what I'm saying? You can just imagine how the marriage is going to be. So, like you said, I think a lot of times it's like when you, like me and Carrie, we always say, just because you dip a red flag in bleach and it turns white, the water, if you look down there, the water's still red. You understand what I'm saying? So when you see red flags and stuff like that in the beginning, then okay, you know what? Nah, I'm gonna need to dodge that, because, and like I said, whatever you get from the gate, that's what you're gonna get going through the gate. When you got to go to the back of the house and unlock the gate, you know what I'm saying? That's what you're gonna get. And so, like I said, our relationship is equally yoked. Like I said, it doesn't matter if my husband do a little more 10%, or I might do a little more 10%, because again, I go back to the same things I said before. We have mutual respect, we have communication, and we set boundaries, and we both on the same sheet.
Well, and the thing is, like, this is one of the things that I like, and this is one of the things that bother me the most. If you, and I'm gonna say it goes both ways. Mm-hmm. If one of you are out here busting your butt 24/7, and the other one is at home playing PlayStation 5 or 360 or whatever it is, the game system that they call it now, the Xbox 360, whatever it's called nowadays, then that says a lot about that individual.
Yes.
Everybody should be working. If you're in a relationship, you should be working for the same success. Mm-hmm. You should be working for the same thing. I don't understand how a person can sit back on their butts and do nothing and watch the other one work themselves to death. They don't want to contribute.
And then the one that's working, and then the one that's working has a serious mad at the world. You chose that. You are choosing to continue to go through that life. I don't have to sit here and put up with your attitude.
Yep.
Or your funkiness. I don't have to put up with that. Those are your choices. You don't get to take it out on me, because I'm not the one that's putting you through it.
And even for women, and again, even for women, but I'm for men too. I'm for right. And even as a woman, feeling like, because you married me, I don't have to go do nothing because you chose me. No, yes, you do. You're not equal. You're not equal, because like you just said, Mario, they out here busting their butt. You sitting back and you reaping benefits, coming home, house ain't clean, ain't no dinner on the table, no nothing. You feel like you ain't got to do anything because you just got it like that. There's no way you can think that relationship is balanced. There's no way you can think that relationship is equally. There's no way. It's just not.
And then I'm even going to say, like what Steve Harvey was talking about this morning, this was something that's good. He said that this morning on the show is you can't be that selfish individual where you want all these things in life, but then you don't want this person to work hard to get those things. So in other words, like he was using excuses that if your gentleman or your significant other is out here, has a go get it job, and it's a high demanding job, and you're upset because they're not home, then okay, so what? You want him to work at home, or you want her to work from home?
I never understood that.
And I think that's one of the things is that's when you see the relationship is not balanced.
Yeah.
Is because you have to understand the other person. You have to understand what's going on. Mm-hmm. And again, it's like, okay, you got to be playing on the same. And this is the thing of, if you're in a relationship, if y'all not playing on the same team, then y'all not in a relationship.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true.
I mean, that's just it. It's no team you, it's no team me, it's team us.
Yeah,
And if you can't support the team, then you're not in a relationship.
that's
And I think that's where people mess up is that people, and this is the part that I see, you want to be in a relationship, but you still want to be individual.
Mm-hmm.
yes,
Okay, you can't have it both ways.
no,
If you're in a relationship, I mean actual relationship, then it's no longer me, you, it's us.
Mm-hmm.
yep,
And I think that's another
Things
problem
that
is that
for
people
us.
don't want to define themselves as us. They want to define themselves, oh, it's me or it's them. And it's like one thing now, and this is the funny part. I know we see these video clips all the time, is does your significant other has a password to your phone?
we got that thumbprint, that fingerprint.
Yep.
Yeah, we got
Yeah.
No, I mean,
Index finger.
but this is the thing is you'll sit back and people be in relationships, but there's a joke going around to where if you're in a relationship with somebody and you don't have their access code to their cell phone, you're really not in a relationship.
Mm-mm.
or you're not a friend on their Facebook page, or you can't get on, you can't go on. You know what I'm saying? Now, we know people like that, and I'm like, what in the world?
Yeah,
Like,
that's another one too. We both on social media, but we not friends on social media.
Yeah.
I know, like, what in the world?
Like, we saw a video where it was funny, but it was like, wow, the dude. It said in the subtitles when the girlfriend wants access to your phone. So he got the kid sitting on the couch, he kissing the kids, he got his bag in his hand, he get ready to walk out the door. That's a see now that's a problem right there. It's funny, but that's a problem. We index finger. This is what we need to get into each other's phone.
Yep.
I mean, there's not if you ain't got nothing to hide. I ain't got nothing to hide. I don't even let you see my phone. So if you ain't got nothing to hide, why you won't give me access to your phone? Ain't like I'm gonna check it every day. You know what I'm saying? There's no need to check it every day.
Right.
Like for instance, with her phone, I use it to make sure it's updated. So I go in there, grab it, boom. Or she'll tell me something wrong with the phone. Like for instance, if she in the shower, she say my phone acting up, I need to do this. Okay, I can grab the phone and sit in there. Or if it's ringing, we don't go out the room. The only reason we leave out the room when somebody calls is just for privacy. That's it. It ain't that. It's just to be respectful of the person that's in there. Like if she watching TV or something.
Right.
But it ain't like I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna call you back. And no. We even know people that go to sleep with the phone in their pocket charging.
We do.
About to get themselves third-degree burn.
And look, and they married. I mean, he puts his phone in his pocket because he don't want it. I'm like, we already know what that is. That's about though. But I'm like, wow.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying? That's crazy, Mario.
Why should I have to let her go through my phone? I ain't doing nothing. Okay, so if you're not doing nothing, why does it look as though you are doing something? Why is it such a big deal? You're in a relationship. It's just a phone. Why is it a problem?
But and the thing is, and this is one of the things I tell people all the time, is that if everything is a secret, then the secret is you're not in a relationship.
That's right.
So I think that's what people have to understand is that you have to be. And don't get me wrong. There's certain times and there's a certain timeline on when you start to open up to a person. I get that, but when you do open up to a person, it's kind of like it's kind of the biggest test is when you go to meet their family.
You know what? That's funny you say that because I was just going to ask a question to both of y'all.
Right, but that's where.
At what point do you think, Mario, when you're dating? How much time do you think should pass by before you can meet their family, or you should meet their family? What you think?
I'll be honest with you. I want them to meet my family immediately.
Mm-hmm.
If we got to the point where we come to the point where you're my woman, my lady, my girl, my queen. I want you to meet my family because I'm going to be excited that you're my woman. You're going to be. I want to, like I said, I'm going to put you on a pedestal because you are that one. You are my potential queen. You are my queen. You are going to be that one. So immediately, I want you to meet my family because number one, I want you to see how crazy things really are. So I want you to understand what you're getting yourself into. Well, cousin, excuse me, you're like, wait a minute. Your cousin Junebug he he just jumped off the grill and landed in the pool. This is how I want you to understand what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah.
And so when you meet somebody else's family, you can't say I didn't tell you so.
And I agree with you on that too, because when we first started dating, he met my family immediately, and it just so happened that my mother-in-law at the time, she wasn't, but my future mother-in-law was visiting down in Fayetteville, and so he took me right over there to where his brothers were, his mom. I mean, and I'm like, this was like instant, you know what I'm saying? So we knew, you know what I'm saying? When we knew. So you're right. If somebody's telling you not, this ain't the right time, I don't want you to meet him right now, because you know why? Because you're not the one. And they're all options.
I wouldn't say you're not the one. There might be some reason. If you got a crazy family, you might not want them to meet your crazy family. That might chase that person off.
No, I'm talking about, I ain't talking about like instant. I'm talking about like you've been dating for months and you still,
okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You've been dating for months and they still don't want you to meet the family. You still haven't met the family. Every time you ask them, they got an excuse. That's what I'm talking about.
Right. Well, see, I think that's one of those things to where meeting the family, and again, it's an old tradition. When you was courting, what they say, courting, what is it?
Yeah.
When you courting somebody, the first thing you got to do is meet the father. You got to meet the family. And I think that is that's that old style of it. You're actually getting a chance to see a snapshot of what your future is going to be with this person. That means a lot. When, like, to me, that's a significant thing, is when you actually introduce them to your family, because number one, you're going to see how your family responds to it. Number two, she's going to see how crazy your family really is. And number three, she's going to get a snapshot of who you are. Sometimes our families don't represent who we are as individuals, but we understand where you're coming from. You have a better understanding on your roots in life. And I think that's a critical thing, but that shows the balance in the relationship is nothing should be kept a secret.
No, nothing is a secret. You know?
So if we've been dating for 3 years and you're just finding out I got 3 brothers and 1 sister, there's a problem.
That's true.
That's a problem.
Yeah, that's the truth, because it's that natural progression. Nobody can say the timeline. That's why I use natural progression. You and with the natural progression, if it's naturally progressing, not you want it to, it's naturally progressing, you will know when it's time to meet the family. Right. It's just the stars aligned, and my family had this. My mama just happened to be visiting here, so she was able to meet them. See, she's from here, so I was able to meet her family.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So it's that natural progression. It's time. You'll know when it's time. Now it shouldn't be 3, 4, 5 years, and you find out I got a twin. You know,
right?
No, that's a problem, bro. That right there is a problem. See, and people don't want, it's natural progression and it's clearly defined roles. Those are the 2 things that people are failing in their relationships. We had a friend. We don't go out that much, but we do. We might go to a club once in a while. We had a good friend of ours. We used to. We had a good friend of ours tell us, ain't no woman here is going to no club. Now, he told us this while we were in the club. He was there with us. He said, and I quote, "Oh, ain't no woman of mine gonna ever go to no club." I looked at Sel looked at me. I said, "Boy, ain't you in the club saying that?"
And then I
he was trying out for Color Purple, wasn't he?
Mario. And then I had a bunch of females told me, like my cousin, it was like me and we was dating. We went out together, met some of my cousins and my other friends, and they told me, one of them whispered in my ear, said, "You don't bring no sand to the beach." I said, "Well, I got the whole ocean. Y'all looking for the seashells. I already got mine. So, you know what I'm saying? So I shut that right on down. You know what I'm saying?"
And see, to me, and again, I guess to me, and I mean, the club environment is not a good place for any married couple anyways. I mean,
we was dating that.
No, I'm talking about like when people say stuff like that, it's kind of like, okay, I get what they're saying, but at the same time, where you at? And I
Yeah.
think there's like, I get it. When you get married, then that club life should disappear. But if you're in the club looking for your wife,
Yeah,
then be careful what you're looking for,
that's true.
because a club is just a quick. I call it it's a quick I call it a happy meal, quick happy meal. It ain't a full course dinner. It's not a full
Well,
course meal.
Mario,
It's just a
Well,
quick happy meal.
look,
I'm the
let me
lucky
say,
one then. I'm the lucky
wait a
one
minute,
then.
Mario, because look, so now there's some diamonds in the rough, right? Because
Yeah.
that's what we met at. We met at the club. I
NCO
promise you.
club, yeah.
And I'm telling you, the same night we met, he never left. Never left.
Oh
At
no, don't get
all.
me wrong. Don't get me wrong. What I say, I mean, what I'm
Oh
saying
no,
is,
we know. It's
I'm
not
just saying, like,
always.
no, I'm talking about today. Now I ain't talking about back then, because back then it was
Oh,
different.
okay. I was
I'm
making
talking
sure,
about now.
yeah.
I'm talking about if you go to the club now, you're going to get a happy meal. You're not trying to go find
You
a full
gonna
course
get
meal. You're just
Yeah.
trying to
you
get a
gonna
happy
get
meal.
a happy meal and a DUI because everybody leaving the club drunk.
And that Happy Meal gonna be missing two of them nuggets. Somebody left two of the nuggets out the Happy Meal.
That's why I
You're
didn't
gonna
go to the Waffle
You're gonna
House.
get a happy meal with no sauce.
Yes, true.
I'm gonna drive 15 minutes to IHOP so I can soak up this alcohol so I can drive home. Bro, you done already drove drunk. What?
And I think Mario, I told you our story. Everybody don't know our story about how we met and stuff, but they was like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, what? I was like, "Yep, that's hey, love at first sight." That some people don't believe in that, but it's like, and it's not. I don't think it's like so much love at first sight, but I really believe that when you meet someone, you actually know that if that person is their soulmate, if that's who go, you know what I'm saying? Just like you just know, like Steve Harvey said, it doesn't take a man 3 months to 6 months to know if this woman that I'm talking to every day, this somebody I want to be my wife.
Right,
You know what I'm
absolutely.
saying?
It shouldn't take that long. I'll be honest with you. It should not take that long.
No, we're
you're
not.
You're gonna know within 30 days.
Yeah, we're not difficult. We're not complicated. We're not. So all the women out there looking at this are gonna read about this. It don't take them that long. So if you've been waiting 5 years for him to tell you whether he gonna marry you or not, he been lying to you, cuz. He been lying to you.
Well, I think that's one of those things that people have to understand is that the way your relationship starts,
That's right.
it defines your balance.
Mm-hmm.
We said
If your
that.
relationship is already, I mean, and the thing is, what one people have to understand is that the foundation is what makes your relationship last.
Yes.
If you are not out here and building a solid foundation from the very beginning, there's never going to be a balance. It's not going to last long, and that's one of the things. It's like if you're not defining your relationship at the very beginning, you can't define it later on.
Mm-mm.
Ain't that the truth?
You have to define your relationship up front. You have to define exactly what it is. Okay, look, what are your goals? Like, okay, when you first sit down, you're chit chatting. Like, okay, what's your goals? What's your plan in life? Well, my goal is to work at McDonald's and serve Happy Meals for the rest of my life. Okay, well, it was nice meeting you, and I'm, it's certain things
That's a deal breaker. That's a deal breaker.
Yeah, to a certain degree, because then it is a deal breaker, because if that's the highest you're aiming for, okay, I'm looking for a little bit more than just Happy Meals. We got to do a little bit more with these Happy Meal things. So it's just, and it's not a materialistic thing, but it just shows you their low intensity for success. If a person thinks playing PlayStation 5 is a successful thing and they're 35, 40 years old, there's a problem. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's okay with gaming, but you got to be doing a little bit more than just playing some games. Now, if you're making some money off that's a different story, but it's like the thing is, people have to see it up front. If every time you go out with this person and this person's constantly getting in arguments and fight, that's a snapshot of what you're going to have to deal with for the rest of your life.
Yep.
And if you're part of that fad, like for instance, like me even when I was younger, like real young, I didn't go for the dude that everybody like. One thing about me is like that fad stuff. If you 30, 40, 50, and you still walk around here with your pants hanging off your booty and stuff like that, I don't know how women think that's not attractive. Like I said, if I'm balanced where I'm dressing and I ain't exposing everything, I'm gonna need you to pull your pants up, put a belt on. That's equally. That's what I want in a partner. You know
But you
what
know
I'm saying?
what?
That's
I'm just gonna say this though. If they were doing it when y'all were dating, they're gonna do it when you're married.
That's
and
right.
that's
That's
why
right.
I didn't accept it from day one.
And that's one of the things is that what makes a marriage mess up or go wrong is when you're dealing with a person, they're showing you who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you do happen to get married, don't expect them to change.
Exactly.
And I think that's the unrealistic, because like some people, it's just like that crazy president we just had. Oh well, he's gonna change. He's gonna change. That dude never changed. It's the same thing in relationship. Is that what you see is what you get. If
Yeah.
this person was disrespecting you before,
Oh
Guess
what do
yeah.
you
what?
think they're gonna do to you when you get married?
It's gonna be worse.
It's gonna
It's
be
gonna get a
worse.
lot worse.
Because
So
some people feel like you their property. It's like you're my wife now. I get to, you know what I'm saying? No, we're not doing that. You know what I'm saying?
so I mean, so that's one of the things is that people have to understand is that in order for your relationship to be balanced, it starts at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Your foundation is what sets your kind of like balances out the relationship. And things, don't get me wrong, things in time will change, things will happen. But guess what? If that relationship is properly balanced and has a proper foundation, it's going to be an easy adjustment to make sure that you move forward together as a team. Um, Being balanced and working as a team is the same thing. And the thing is, if you can't work together as a team, it's like it's crazy. Just like I sit back and I tell people all the time is that in a relationship is if everybody's and this is one of the biggest things that destroy relationship. If you got everybody in the world in your relationship and they
Yep.
know more about your relationship than you do,
Yep.
there's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
There's a serious problem in that relationship.
yeah,
So to me, it's again being in a balanced relationship. It starts, and I want people to understand it's not a materialistic thing. It's
no,
not about who makes the money. It's
no,
about how you treat each other. If I treat you the way I want to be treated, their
there you
relationship is
go,
going to be balanced.
there you go,
But if I'm being treated, I'm treating you like a king or queen, and you treat me like I'm the jester sitting over there on the curve, jump dancing with the clowns, then there's a problem, and that's not a balance. And I
no,
think that's where the balance comes to in a relationship is the way you treat a person. If that person treats you like the king and queen that you are, you wake up every single morning happy to be with them.
yes,
If you wake up in the morning like, dang, they're still alive, there's a problem.
Face
Checking to
get
see if they're
balled
still
up.
breathing.
look,
You wake up with your face balled up like the sun in your eyes.
Grumpy Smurf. I have a question for all of us, so we can start winding down. What would be some advice? What would be an advice that you would give someone that's about to be married in a relationship? As far as like, what would boundaries equal? What would you tell your young self now? Now, Mario, you've been married for 25 plus. We have. What would be some advice that you would give someone to know from the beginning that their relationship is equally balanced?
You have to understand who you are, understand what you're dealing with, and understand who you are. And I think that's to me, it's kind of like me and Kathy. It was like we have been friends forever, so we already knew each other very. I mean, we knew each other well.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, we defined who we were in our relationship. We
Wow.
defined like it's so funny because Kathy said she would never ever marry a military man. And she got the biggest one in the world. No, but I'm just saying, it's just those are things that people have to look at. Is that when you're able to say I'm never going to do something, and then you break that, and you be with that person. Like me, I pay attention to everything she said when we were dating. So when she did marry me, and I was in the military, that means I meant a lot for her to step above her boundaries that she put in place for herself. That says a lot. So it's just the little things that you pay attention to. And again, attention to detail. Just simple. Don't get caught up in the big things.
Yes.
How much money, the money thing, that the financial thing. What happens when all that money and financial stuff is gone? Then what?
Yeah.
So those are things that my thing is in a relationship is you got to define who you are and define what you want out of the relationship.
Yes. Eric.
3 words: clearly define roles. You have to clearly define roles, and both of you talking. You have to, in order to know what role you're gonna play, you both it's got to be an equal conversation. That's how it's going. That's how you gonna end up having an equal and balanced relationship. You have to have an equal and balanced conversation and have an equal and balanced roles. Because I can't count on my hands. Because what I do is I handle the maintenance on the car. Anything need to be fixed, I fix it. Whatever. I can't count on my hands. The time I come out there, I be in a cuss up the storm. Babe, what you think about this? She say, do this, this, and this. What? And it worked. That's equal and balanced. Just because I fix cars don't mean I know everything. It just means that I got a little bit more to come to the table with. But I can still ask her because she's a thinker just like I am. And sometimes, well, I ain't no sometimes, two heads are better than one. Babe, what you think about this? Well, can't you just move that to the side and put that right there?
Yeah.
And then I look at it. Boy, I had to give her a high five. I said, you know what? Boom, there you go. Go on and fix it. You have to have clearly defined roles and an equal and honest conversation.
And mine is you have to know, you have to realize if there's compatibility. You have to understand, like you said, you have to know who you are as an individual, and you cannot take red flags and dip them, because that person will let you know now. And back then when we was dating and stuff like that, it was a little different. But now y'all know, y'all can attest to this. When people open their mouth, you already know at that moment if that person is for you. You understand what I'm saying? So compatibility, knowing who you are, and respect across the board.
Absolutely. And one of the things is that, one of the things I just thought about this. If you have to belittle yourself in order for it to work, that ain't the right relationship.
Or dumb yourself down.
If you have to dumb yourself down or belittle yourself in order for it to work, you're not in the right relationship. When you're with somebody, it should be one of those things where it builds you up.
Yeah, that's our thing too. Yeah.
It should build you up. It's like when I'm with Kat, it's like she completes me.
Yep.
It should be one of those situations that when you're with somebody, they complete you as a person.
Yes.
It allows you to elevate yourself to the next level just because you're with them. If you're with them and it's downgrading you down to a lower level, then there's a problem in that relationship.
Yes. And don't go marry them, especially whenever you already going through things in the dating stage or getting to know each other. You know what I'm saying? That's not, no, you don't go do that. That's not, or go have a baby. People, we have to also understand too, just because you have a baby by somebody, that don't mean that man or they not gonna marry you. Or don't go out here and, like you said, dumb yourself down. Well, I'm gonna give more of myself while you give less of me, just so I can be with you. Stop and stop you. And we sometimes have to be by ourselves. We have to be by ourselves sometimes to get to know our own selves and know who we truly are. That way, when we do get into a relationship, we want to allow that individual to treat us the way that we're not going to treat our own self. So that was it.
And I think one of the biggest things, and you said something made me think, is financially. Don't get me wrong, money and material things is not, but financially, you have to be able to take care of yourself. Yeah. I mean, point blank before, and this is one. One of the things is that I see what goes wrong with our relationships is one-sided.
Oh, wow.
It's one-sided. It's like you're dating somebody and they don't have a car and they're still living at home with the parents. Okay, that's not financially stable.
No.
See, a lot of people don't understand money isn't everything, but you have to be financially stable in order to make it in this world.
Yes.
It's a hardcore fact. You have to be stable. So if you're jumping into a relationship and somebody is not financially stable, the relationship is not going to be balanced. You're going to have so many issues and so many problems because you're not financially stable. A relationship is not going to make it if a person is not able to take care of themselves.
Yeah.
You have to be able to take care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yeah.
think that's just. I mean, now I'm talking about when the dating phase. Now, when you're married, it's a whole different story. But when you're dating somebody and you always gotta go pick them up, I mean, and then you gotta go. You gotta go. You know, I mean, think about it. Back in the days, when you're dating somebody, when we were young, you know, it's different. But when you become like 20 plus years old,
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
you're dating somebody, I shouldn't have to go to your grandma's house and have a conversation with cousin Junebug while I'm waiting for you to get ready.
That's true.
That to me, that just gotta be some balance in there.
Yeah.
Financially stable, because that's what's going on a lot of time is these people get in these relationships and they're not financially stable. They can't even take care of themselves. How they gonna take care of you?
They want that free ride.
Yeah. That's true. That's
And
true.
I mean, I'm being hardcore. I'm really talking about with the men, because as a man, if you can't take care of yourself, that's bad.
That's very bad.
That's very bad.
I feel like as a woman or just period, I don't think you should be in no type of relationship if you don't have certain basic needs. You know what I'm saying? I mean, certain basic, you shouldn't. I just feel like you shouldn't.
Right.
You just
I
shouldn't.
mean, I'm telling you that, and then I'm talking about 40 plus.
Yes.
If you still going to their parents' house to pick them up, I'm telling you, it's no. Don't get me wrong.
You know some of them.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There's sometimes the situations that happen that puts them in that place, but that says a lot about the person.
Yeah.
If you're 40 plus and you're still living with your parents, and again, there are very significant situations that's different, but it says a lot about that person. You really have to ask a lot of questions. Okay, why are you staying with your mom, your grandma still? You know, and it might be a good reason for it, but to me, to start in a balanced relationship, you got to be balanced yourself before. If you're financially not stable, if you're emotionally not stable, and we all know how emotionally unstable people act. So it's like if you're constantly, because like, and I tell people all the time, when I married Kathy, I took a break away from being in a relationship for 2 years. I said I'm gonna be single for 2 years to get myself together, get myself established. So when I meet the next person, my mindset is going to be right. I'm not going to be thinking about old relationships. I'm not going to think about how this happened. So my mind is going to be free of all things, so I can focus on that individual.
Yeah.
You can't come out of a bad relationship and jump right into another relationship.
Well, ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? And also
that's what makes a relationship unbalanced. But go ahead, I'm done.
and I'm gonna say this real quick. Then we can, and also too, balance is also like you said, going over to your mom's house or your grandma's house. Balance also is having privacy. Like when you date someone, like you said, you're not supposed to go sit on the couch and all the cousins sitting there, or you know what I'm saying? You can't, you know. I mean, it's like, so I'm supposed to go to your grandma's house and go in your room with you. Look,
no, you can't go up in their room because they live with their grandma. You gotta wait out in the living room.
Oh, you know what I'm saying?
Because you gotta be respectful. You gotta be respectful.
Do anything. I'm just saying that it's like I'm dating this 40-year-old man, but I still got. I'm going to his grandma's house. We ain't got no privacy.
You gotta wait on the front porch.
Look, Mario. He got a twin bed, and his cousin on the other side of the room with his twin bed. You know, I'm like, oh,
you gotta wait.
We good.
You gotta wait on the front porch, and the swing is about to break down. Right?
We good. But that was good tonight. It really was.
A real good one.
Yeah, that was a good one. But like I said, but this is just one that, I mean, this is good again. Ladies and gentlemen, just so y'all know, like I said, me, and my wife, we've been married for 25 plus years. I know Eric and Marcel have been married for 25 plus years. We're both military, retired military, because that means and I say that because if you are a spouse to a military individual and you are still with them after they retire from the military, that defines you as a couple. Because one of the hardest things in any type of relationship, marriage, in the military, and you're able to still stand, that is a lot, because families going and dealing with the military life, a lot of y'all think they got it good, but they don't. There's a lot of things that go on with relationships being connected to the military.
Yes.
So
There's a system for some of them.
Yep.
So that balance is crucial. I mean,
Yeah.
it's extremely crucial
It
because in
is.
order to survive of a family or say a life in the military as a relationship or as in a couple or as in a marriage, it takes a balanced relationship.
Yes. From the
And
beginning.
you will find out if your relationship is balanced or not if you're in the military.
Yeah.
You'll find out real quick.
You will.
But
So
that's all we have.
Just make sure it's balanced from the beginning, and you good.
There you go. Say, look, build it in the front so you don't have to worry about it at the end or towards the middle.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, this is our show. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Again, next Tuesday we won't be doing next Tuesday. We have everyone has obligations going on next Tuesday, so we won't be able to do the show next Tuesday. But we will pick back up on the very following Tuesday.
Yes.
All right, so y'all take it easy, be safe, enjoy life, and remember, understand red flags before they get dipped in Clorox.
Have a good evening.
Good night, everyone. Good night.